Hey everyone, Cine Review Hub friends. Welcome to your channel. Every week we're going to dive into the trendiest Hollywood happenings, the latest celebrity news, film box office numbers, and all the new movies that are coming out. Get ready, you won't want to miss it.
First up, let's talk about the films currently in theaters and on the red carpet. The biggest buzz is around The Materialists, produced by A24. We talked about it in previous weeks. Dakota Johnson, Pedro Pascal, and Chris Evans are in this movie. What's cool about it is that when it premiered for critics, it got an incredibly high Rotten Tomatoes score, something nobody expected. Everyone thought it would be a cheesy romantic film.
Its initial scores were over 90, but now its Rotten Tomatoes score is 88 and its Metacritic score is 72. In this film, Dakota Johnson plays a matchmaker and marriage counselor.
One of the funnier moments during the film's promotional tour was when Dakota Johnson first tried to get Pedro Pascal and Chris Evans to kiss each other, but it didn't work. Dakota Johnson didn't give up. The next day, she printed a picture of Pedro Pascal and brought it for Chris Evans to kiss. A photo of them went viral, with Pedro Pascal holding the picture, and it got 6 million views on just one Twitter page.
A24 has managed to secure deals with 2,700 cinemas and predicts it can make $9 million in its first week. They're doing everything for marketing. Dakota Johnson, just like Ana de Armas for Ballerina, went on the Hot Ones show to answer questions about the movie. Last week, Dakota Johnson appeared on the show, answering questions about the film while eating spicy food.
Then, A24 did another cool thing. They actually launched a website where single men across New York City can enter their information, like wealth, height, and other details. Later, their information, like stock market data, gets ranked in a table, and the men get scores in this table. This ranking is then displayed on screens related to the New York Stock Exchange and on billboards all over New York. A24's goal is to reflect the film's perspective on how love is being treated like a commodity in the modern world.
Last year wasn't a great one for Dakota Johnson either. She won a Golden Raspberry Award. When asked about her role in this film, she said she hoped to be like Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock won an Academy Award the same year she won a Golden Raspberry, though for two different films. Dakota Johnson also said her previous film, Madam Web, was bad, and she hoped to be nominated for an Oscar for this one.
She then mentioned Sandra Bullock called her and invited her to dinner. She shared a funny story, saying Sandra Bullock was the only celebrity who actually went to accept her Golden Raspberry Award because most celebrities don't attend. After she took the award home, the Golden Raspberry producers called her and asked her to return it because they apparently only had one. Since no one ever showed up to claim it, they didn't make multiple awards, just kept gifting that one to everyone.
Another highly anticipated film is Ballerina, a spin-off from the John Wick series. It premiered for critics last week. The scores were average, 76 from Rotten Tomatoes and a weak 53 from Metacritic. But what was interesting was that it received excellent scores from the audience. The Rotten Tomatoes audience score was 90, and it got an A from CinemaScore.
CinemaScore is a very reliable rating, given only by people who saw the movie on opening night in North America. The film also did pretty well at the box office, grossing $55 million in its first week. The film's budget was $80 million, and it's projected to need to make around $200 million to break even. This makes it the third largest opening in the John Wick film series out of 5 films.
Analysts say the moderate sales were due to Lionsgate's weak advertising and marketing, and it's already confirmed that the high-quality version will be released on July 22nd. The creator of the John Wick universe, Chad Stahelski, said in a recent interview that John Wick himself will not be in the new John Wick spin-off, Kin, and the film's events take place after the events of John Wick.
Another talked-about film is F1, which had its first promotional tour last week in Mexico. Brad Pitt's red carpet photos went viral.
From a technical standpoint, F1 is one of cinema's most significant achievements in 2025, as it's said to be the widest image ever screened in cinematic history. Those who saw the film in theaters said it felt exactly like Top Gun, because they even share the same director. But instead of fighter jets, you're dealing with cars.
The film is scheduled to be released in cinemas on June 27th. We'll likely see a high-quality version a month or two after that. Another highly anticipated movie is Wicked Part 2, which had an interesting moment last week. Its first trailer was released and got 113 million views in 24 hours. The trailer for the first part got 75 million views in its first 24 hours.
So, it's safe to say this film is set to break the first part's $750 million box office record. Peter Dinklage has also joined the cast as a new actor. The film will directly follow the first part, showing how the Wicked Wizard came to be. It's scheduled to be released in cinemas on November 21st.
For our next news segment, let's head over to the Tony Awards. The Tony Awards are for theater, specifically Broadway theater, recognizing the best performances there. Many celebrities from film also attend. The most significant award of the night went to Sarah Snook, an actress we know from her role in the series Succession. Her performance was incredibly important because she played 26 different characters in the play The Picture of Dorian Gray, and for this artistry, she won the award for Best Actress.
Sarah Snook hasn't won an Academy Award yet. If she can win the Academy Award for Best Actress as well, she'll become the most decorated actress in cinematic history. The Tony Awards also had a bit of a controversy. The host of the show, during a song performance, suddenly jumped onto Keanu Reeves' lap. Keanu Reeves jokingly made a surprised face, as if he was caught off guard, and his image became a viral hit on social media.
Last week, there was another big theater news: Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Tom Felton, who played Draco Malfoy in the Harry Potter film series, reprised his role. As you probably know, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child tells the story of Harry Potter's children, and Harry Potter and Draco are older, middle-aged in this story. Tom Felton is playing the middle-aged version of his old character again. He's set to perform this role for 19 consecutive weeks starting November 11th.
Tom Felton also had a bit of a controversy. Reporters asked him about J.K. Rowling's anti-trans behavior. Unlike all the other actors from the Harry Potter universe, he sided with Rowling. As you know, all three main actors from the Harry Potter world have spoken out against Rowling. But Tom Felton said, first, he didn't want to get too involved in the issue. Then he added that Harry Potter had a huge impact on the world, bringing people together, and for that we should be grateful to Rowling. After he said this, his social media accounts were attacked by J.K. Rowling's critics, who said he should be canceled too. Speaking of that news, let's move on to Warner Bros. And their Harry Potter series. They've announced a new list of actors for the Harry Potter series. The Malfoy family, both father and son, have their actors chosen. Lucas Pert will play the son, and Johnny Flynn, whom you might have seen in the series Ripley and who is also a musician, will play the father.
After this announcement, Jason Isaacs, who played the father Malfoy, released a video wishing the new actor's success. He told him to be careful of the elves and not to be fooled by their innocent looks, because with their sharp ears, they'll stab you in the back. Fans of Harry Potter understood his meaning. Dobby was one of those elves who initially worked for the Malfoy family.
Catherine Parkinson will play Molly Weasley, Ron's mother. This actress has previously won a BAFTA award. Belle Powley will play Harry Potter's aunt, the one Harry Potter lived with. This actress has also been a co-star with Jennifer Aniston in The Morning Show. The rest of the chosen actors are all newcomers. Some are even playing their first roles, which you can see in the image for their respective parts.
Warner Bros. Also released some interesting images of the construction of Platform 9 3/4. These buildings are part of the £1 billion studio complex that Warner Bros. Is building for filming Harry Potter. This series is planned to begin airing in 2027. Warner Bros. Had a few other important news items last week. Warner Bros. had merged
with Discovery Newsworks.
This was also when Max removed HBO from its streaming service. In news from a few weeks ago, we mentioned they regretted that decision. They added HBO back to Max. Now, in last week's news, it was revealed that after more than 2 years, the head of Warner Bros. Announced that Warner Bros. And Discovery are separating again. This means Warner Bros. Studio, the DC Universe, HBO, and Max have separated from the sports and news networks like CNN, Discovery, and Discovery+. Basically, 2 years ago they made a decision and now they regret all of it. From Warner Brothers, there were also a few superhero-related news items. First, another new trailer for Superman was released. And James Gunn also announced that he would soon choose a new actress for the Wonder Woman film series. The script is currently being written. They will soon begin the auditioning process, and the final actress will be publicly announced. James Gunn also said that the second part of the Robert Pattinson Batman film series is one of the most important projects in the DC universe. All eyes are on this film. The script is expected to be delivered soon, and filming will begin shortly after.
Last week, Warner Bros., along with Disney and Universal, had a bit of a controversy. They filed a formal complaint in a Los Angeles federal court against the Midjourney website, claiming that the website uses the archives of these major film companies to create unauthorized versions of their artwork. For example, Disney announced that the Darth Vader character Midjourney creates is too close to the original, which is a copyright infringement of the Star Wars film series.
Universal also filed a complaint regarding the Minions characters, stating that their copyright was being violated. This lawsuit is the first formal complaint by Hollywood companies against artificial intelligence companies, which was completely predictable. If you remember, only 5 years ago, the film The Irishman, directed by Martin Scorsese, cost $30 million just for deepfake technology to make the faces of actors like Al Pacino and Robert De Niro look younger in the film.
Right now, if someone wanted to recreate that film, it would only cost around $10,000. That's why companies are so scared of the advancement of artificial intelligence, fearing that the market they've monopolized might slip out of their hands.
For the next news, let's talk about the new movies coming out. A24 did something strange again last week. If you've seen the movie Talk to Me, you know that 2 YouTuber brothers directed it, and A24 discovered them and agreed to fund their movie, which was a success. Now, last week, the company invested in another YouTuber, Kane Parsons, who is only 19 years old. The contract has been fully signed, making him the youngest director to work with A24 to date.
This YouTuber used to release a series of viral videos on YouTube called The Backrooms, which told the story of a young director who suddenly gets pulled into a parallel world. He would move through an abandoned office-like space where supernatural creatures would occasionally attack him. His videos were very popular on YouTube, sometimes getting more than 50 million views. Now, Sean Levy, the director of Deadpool, has agreed to produce this young man's films.
What's interesting is that this young man created all the visual effects for his short films on his personal computer. His film is planned to be released 2 years from now. Among the new films coming out, a new movie from Jennifer Lopez was also unveiled, Kiss of the Spider-Woman. Jennifer Lopez stars alongside Diego Luna in this film. The film is based on a novel that was previously adapted into a movie in 1985. The story is a musical, and it's filmed very similarly to the movie Chicago. It's about a prisoner who, to escape the horrific prison atmosphere, falls in love with a Hollywood star in his mind and dances and sings with her in his thoughts every night. In the test screening for critics, it received a score of 86 from Rotten Tomatoes and 60 from Metacritic. It's scheduled for public release on October 1st. Another piece of news about upcoming films concerns Arnold's son, Patrick Schwarzenegger, whose career has really taken off since he starred in The White Lotus. He currently has 2 films in production. In one of them, he stars opposite Margaret Qualley, but the film's title and plot are still unknown. He's also been offered a very important role, Patrick Bateman in American Psycho. This role is one of the most challenging in Hollywood, and if this actor truly accepts it, he's taking a huge risk.
If he can pull off this difficult role, he'll be set for life and become one of Hollywood's biggest stars. But if he can't handle it and ruins this iconic role, it's pretty much game over for him. The film's director is Luca Guadagnino, whom you might know from Challengers. The final actor will likely be chosen in the coming weeks.
Let's share two quick bits of news about upcoming films. One is sad news for Al Pacino. The actor, despite his advanced age, starred in a horror film called The Watchers, which premiered for critics last week. Unfortunately, it received a 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. After a few days, as more reviews came in, its score only increased to 7. Critics heavily slammed the film, calling it trash, trying to be like The Exorcist. Many on social media criticized Al Pacino, saying that now that he's older, he should retire from acting to preserve his good reputation with the public. Another quick piece of news about upcoming films concerns the animated movie Incredibles 3. Its director has been chosen. Peter Sohn, who also directed the animated film Elemental, has been selected to direct the third installment.
The first two parts of this franchise combined grossed $1,080 million at the box office. The person who wrote the previous two screenplays is currently writing the third installment of this animation. For the next news, let's turn to celebrities. The most important celebrity news concerns Liam Cunningham, the actor from Game of Thrones, who, along with several others, sailed from Italy towards the Gaza Strip in a yacht.
Last week, Israel was forced to detain them and prevent them from reaching the Gaza Strip coast. They were detained, taken to Israel, and to avoid further media pressure, they were quickly put on a plane and deported to Sweden. When their yacht was seized, Greta Thunberg said on social media, "We've been kidnapped and taken hostage," which really angered many Israelis. There were very mixed reactions on social media. Some were supportive, like Maisie Williams, who said supporting the people of Gaza is not anti-Semitism. Many disagreed, like Eli Roth, whom you might remember from Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds. He wrote on social media that Greta Thunberg should become cannibal food. He said this because he himself is Jewish, and by cannibals he meant Palestinians, implying that if she went to the Gaza Strip, Palestinians would eat her.
More celebrity news, and this time it's about Jared Leto, who had a really bad week. 9 women, in a coordinated effort, accused the actor of misconduct and sexual harassment. 2 of them stated they were underage when the incidents occurred. These weren't accusations of rape, but rather of inappropriate and offensive sexual behavior. Jared Leto himself didn't say anything, but he appointed a representative who responded to these claims.
The representative stated that these claims are either false, or if any incidents occurred, they were all consensual. These 9 women went public with their stories, indicating they are confident in their accusations, and this news was even picked up by the New York Times. Nothing has been proven yet, but if it is, Jared Leto's artistic career will come to an end. This actor also has an Academy Award to his name. More celebrity news, and this time it's another controversy for Sydney Sweeney. In last week's Cringiest News segment, we talked about her selling soap, and that story went pretty viral. What was interesting last week was that it only took 11 seconds for 5,000 bars of soap to sell out. Each bar of soap cost $8, and people rushed to buy it so much that the website selling it crashed for a few minutes. When it came back online a few minutes later, it was completely sold out. Even more interesting, in less than an hour, most of these soaps ended up on eBay, meaning websites that sell second-hand goods. At first, prices were around $300, $400, and now they are selling for between $2,000 and $10,000. Basically, a black market has emerged for them.
Plus, one person who bought the soap did something cool. They went to the red carpet premiere of Sydney Sweeney's new movie, Echo Valley, which I introduced on the channel before, where Sydney Sweeney was with her family members, like her brother. This person gave the soap they bought to Sydney Sweeney herself to sign, and the video went viral on social media. They haven't put the soap up for sale yet, but it wouldn't be surprising if they sold it for $10,000 or $20,000.
Sydney Sweeney had another controversy last week.
Glenn Powell's ex-girlfriend spoke on a podcast and said that she broke up with Glenn Powell because she realized he had cheated on her with Sydney Sweeney when they were co-stars. She said she had some suspicions herself. When she tried to buy a ticket to go to Australia to see her boyfriend, he told her that the producers told him to tell his girlfriend not to come because if she did, the sexual chemistry between him and Sydney Sweeney would disappear.
That's why he wouldn't let his girlfriend come to Australia. And she said that's when she was sure that something was going on and she couldn't pretend not to know. So she ended her relationship with Glenn Powell. More celebrity news concerns Bella Ramsey. Last week, it was revealed that Bella Ramsey will not be appearing in the third season of The Last of Us, and her schedule is open.
She's going to become a footballer and is set to play a few honorary matches for the English national team this year. These matches are under UNICEF and are symbolic. There was also another piece of news for Bella Ramsey fans last week, though it's unofficial. It hasn't been officially confirmed yet, but Marvel is reportedly in talks with the actress to offer her a big role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
For the next news, let's talk about the box office, which is truly at its best. Besides the blockbusters I mentioned earlier, the film Lilo and Stitch crossed the $770 million mark in sales. This film is projected to gross between $1 billion and $1,150 million worldwide. Another successful film at the box office was Mission Impossible. It's currently playing in approximately 3,500 cinemas in the US alone.
It saw a 45% drop in sales compared to the previous week, reaching $150 million in U.S. markets and a total of $450 million worldwide. This film is expected to end its run with $700 million in sales.
Last week, Tom Cruise also set a Guinness World Record for 16 jumps with a burning parachute. Aside from skydiving skills, this is an extremely dangerous and risky feat. Tom Cruise himself said in an interview, "If the rope gets tangled when the parachute is on fire, I'll start spinning in the air. The fire from the parachute will spread to my clothes and set me on fire. If the rope gets tangled in the parachute, I only have 10 seconds to open it.
If I don't open it, my time is up. My skill doesn't matter, and I'll burn." Because of this, skydivers are unwilling to perform such a stunt, which is why Tom Cruise's name is now in the Guinness World Records book. Now for the last piece of news, the cringiest one. The first cringy news item involves Dakota Johnson, who appeared on the Vanity Fair show for the marketing of her film The Materialists.
It's a very famous media outlet that also has a presence on YouTube. One of their segments involves hooking up a celebrity to a lie detector and asking them controversial questions. Dakota Johnson confessed on the show that once a friend's boyfriend cheated on her and broke her friend's heart. So she went to poopsenders.com and bought a kilo of gorilla poop and mailed it to his doorstep. That website's whole business is that anyone can buy animal feces and mail it to whoever they want. The second cringy news is about Zoe Saldana, who won the Academy Award for Best Actress at the last Oscars. In a new interview, she said something incredibly cringy. She said, "Well, I won this award for the movie Emilia Perez, and that movie is about trans people. So my Oscar is also trans and doesn't have a male or female identity. That's why when I talk to it at home, I don't refer to it with she or he, and I refer to it with they or them to avoid offending its gender identity."
All right, everyone, that's it for today's video. I hope you found it interesting. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next week's video, goodbye.